Hi guys, what's up? It's me, Audra. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, I'm not sure how you got here, but certainly I'm glad you came. And if you are new here, well, you're in for a treat. All right, if you like chaotic, frenetic energy, beauty, horror, and a little bit of commentary sprinkled in here and there, then I suggest you go ahead and subscribe for the low, low price of $0. I will tell you a random fact about myself. Today's random fact, are you ready for this? I once burst a button on my top in a high school play. We won. So embarrassing. And here are my socials. I hang out, we do things, I check them as much as I actually can, but like, you guys, how did you guys find me? Oh wait, because I showed you. Okay, never mind. But I do check them, I do answer as much as I possibly can, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. So, what are we here with today? What's going on today, Audra?
Just wanted to pop in to tell you, I fucking hate this foundation. I just don't like it. And you'll find out why in another video, but I just need you to know, I'm aware of that situation. I don't like it. We're gonna move on though.
Terror Tuesday is what's going on today. Terror Tuesday. And this is a special one, and since it's special, we're gonna be drinking out of the Cthulhu mug. Look at that, fucking Cthulhu. The blood of my enemies never tasted so sweet. All right, today's Terror Tuesday is a little bit special because we're gonna be doing a bit of a versus, all right? Because there's two iconic films, one of which I've already talked about, one of which I did try to talk about, but it was a mess. We're gonna be comparing I Know What You Did Last Summer to Scream. Why? Because they were both set up to be franchises, but only one really worked out. The other one just kind of like fizzled out. What are the similarities? Okay, so first of all, they both star brunette leads. Why? Well, it was the 90s and we were moving away from like the blonde bimbo stereotype in horror films or like the pure blonde. We were moving more towards like the intelligent brunette, both of whom are fantastically attractive ladies, and yet they worked really, really hard to make them look as mousy as humanly fucking possible, which is like impossible. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Remember, they spent all this time really trying hard to make Jennifer Love Hewitt look mousy all throughout the 90s and early aughts. I mean, am I wrong? Bo's up to some shit. All right, so then you have Neve Campbell in Scream, who again, they're trying to make her look a little like, both of whom were in Party of Five. Did you know that? For those of you who are young, there was this show called Party of Five. I think they made a new one and now it stars, it's a Latino family, Latinx, is that what we are saying now? Because
resident old bitch of YouTube.
So now it's that, but I don't know if it lasted. But anyway, that one had all white people, and Jennifer Love Hewitt was Scott somebody's. I don't remember his name because everybody thought Scott Wolf. Everybody thought Scott Wolf was so attractive. I did not. I thought he was a kind of a weird looking dude, and really I felt like he looked like he was 35 when he was supposed to be 17. That's neither here nor there. But they were both in that show, and again, there they both looked mousy and kind of boring, which was really weird. Did the same thing in their movies. Now, a big difference that divides is like, I Know What You Did Last Summer has the old school, like 90s teen tropes. You know, like it was kind of left over from the 80s. The jock, the prom queen, the mousy person, the townie. Freddie Prinze Jr. is the townie, and Ryan Phillippe was the jock. He was very attractive. In a weird way, he kind of looked like a rat, which means I'm attracted to him because I love those rodent looking dudes. Anyway. Then on the Scream side, you have the move towards the future, right? Like, but also a throwback to the past. The Scream cast really gives off that like Friday the 13th energy. Wait, hold on. To Cthulhu. Anyway, the Scream cast really gives off like a throwback to like Friday the 13th, where they're just kind of wild and crazy teens, just doing the wildest and like just doing the fucking most, right? And you have Rose McGowan in there looking just stunning with her like peachy kind of reddish hair color. You had the crop tops, yes, the crop tops, the backpacks. I mean, it was just on, okay? And they just moved into style and fashion where like the cool guys were the guys who weren't really necessarily playing sports. They were like too cool to be doing that, and they had like existential crises. So it was just a completely different vibe, which I think is what kept the whole thing propelling forward. Also, there were fairly good scripts throughout all of them, even though the follow-through wasn't fantastic. Where they divide, though, is how the story unfolds. So I'm going to tell you, this is why I had such a hard time trying to film my reenactment of I Know What You Did Last Summer, because there's so many red herrings as to who the killer is, it becomes confusing. And honestly, to this day,
I still don't know the reason why.
The dad, Ben Willis, I think Ben Willis was the killer's name. I still don't know why exactly Ben Willis wanted to kill everybody. It's never really, like, is it me, or am I just, I'm not dumb. I'm very smart. But I have seriously watched this movie so many times, just like prepping for this, and every time I'm just like, so he killed, so he, I feel like he got away with murder, and then they ran him over, and then he didn't die, and then he was just like pissed off, right? Right? Because it seems like he was just pissed off. And it's like, bro, you got away with murder. Why are you like murdering these kids? So it just really wasn't like a good premise. Like, I think that they were trying to bring back that slasher feeling, and oh my goodness, you guys, why didn't you say something? You know what time it is. All right, now that silliness is finally over, let's go ahead and get back into it. So it was just weird that Ben Willis was just like, I don't know what his motive was. To this day, I've seen the movie a gazillion times. I don't know it. In fact, I know the motive of the killer, and I still know What You Did Last Summer better than I know his. Like, it was his son. So, duh. But in Scream, while they had red herrings, they were easy to follow. It wasn't super confusing. And again, maybe it's me. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know if I'm in the wrong. But I felt like Scream was not super duper confusing. It was very easy for us to kind of follow the train of thought as to who was the killer and why. And, you know, when you get to the very end and it's Skeet Ulrich, the man's name is Skeet. And although he was fine.
I say that like he's dead.
Ooh. Although he's fine and was extra fine then, I don't feel like he aged as well. Just whatever. Point is, he was very much like that quintessential like 90s slacker look. Do you know what I mean? Like tall and lanky, white tee, leaning on things, broody, and when it's revealed that it's him, like, you're not super surprised. At least I wasn't super surprised. You're not super surprised, and his reasoning is sound, like, your mom messed up my life because she screwed my dad, which made my mom leave, and you broke up my happy home, so like you're gonna die for this. Like, I totally got that. It made sense. And then Matthew Lillard being Matthew Lillard being Matthew Lillard, that got weird. Anyway, Matthew Lillard being as Matthew Lillard as possible, that's really hard to say a few times, and I've literally had 4 sips of wine. you know, you could see why his crazy ass would be like, I'm joining my friend on this murder quest, because he wanted to be famous. And like that was kind of a thing in the 90s, like trying to get famous, because that was when like Real World and all this stuff started coming up and reality TV started being a thing, and you really kind of wanted to, like, you know, be rich without doing anything. It hasn't changed. Anyway, so the dynamics were there for you to be able to follow the story. Like, you knew that there was a killer, you knew they had a motive, you weren't sure yet, but it was like set up kind of like a slasher. But then it comes out and it's like, surprise, it's not really like a slasher, it's like, you destroyed my family, prepare to fucking die.
I love being able to throw in a Princess Bride reference whenever humanly possible.
So you got that. But with I Know What You Did Last Summer, there was a lot of confusion, and I don't know why Anne Heche was in this movie. I think she was making her comeback from like her weird alien state. For those of you who are young, there was a point in time where Anne Heche like believed in aliens, or she talked to aliens. We don't really know, but she was doing that, and it made her kind of a laughingstock for a while. I think it was kind of after she was done dating Ellen and she maybe had like
breakup fever.
So anyway, she's like reviving her career. She's in this movie. I don't know what her purpose or role was. She's like the family member of one of the people who is dead. That was the other problem. There were too many people who died, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, before any of the actual main characters died. So you have like a girl who I guess is the girlfriend of somebody who also dies. And I don't know if the girl was Ben's daughter or if the guy was his son. Do you see what I'm saying? It got very confusing. And then you threw Anne Heche in, and I was like, who? There's a guy with a hook. Can we just figure out who that guy is? Also, all of the cryptic notes made it kind of, I don't know, I found it kind of annoying. And there was a very weird scene in that movie. The iconic scene for I Know What You Did Last Summer is when Sarah Michelle Gellar is laying in bed and her hair is her crown, baby. Her hair is her crown. So she goes to sleep and then she wakes up and she's like, that is the creepiest thing I could imagine waking up to, aside from a few other things.
Two of which I can't say on film.
Okay, anyways, waking up and somebody's cut off all your hair? No, thank you, sir. I would have panicked, but also, why didn't she wake up at any point during that haircut? Like, it seems like she just slept really still. I don't know. Anyway, I would have woken up. But that was an iconic scene because it was very scary that somebody could go into your house and cut off all your hair, which is your pride and joy, and like you didn't notice. The iconic scene from Scream to this day is still one of the most iconic moments in a movie. And funnily enough, I feel like that movie, The Lodge, tried to borrow a page out of Scream's book by killing like the big name star, Alicia Silverstone, in their movie. And in Scream, it's Drew Barrymore, looking Drew Barrymore-y, and you know, she has a little blonde bob and she's looking cute and she's like, and
Jason's a killer, Jason!
and he's like, no bitch, it's the mother. Like, why didn't you know that? She's like, I watch that movie all the time. Obviously not, sweetheart, because it was the mom. Anyway, she dies in a horrific fashion, and it's very, very upsetting. It sets the tone for almost all, well, really, it sets the tone for all of the Scream movies and how they all start, and how, like, oh, the beginning deaths are really kind of heart-crushing. If, like, yeah, they really are. That was a horrifying death, because you can even hear a point where the parents get home and they pick up the phone and then they hear Drew Barrymore like the whole thing is horrific. Iconic. And you see what I mean? The difference between the iconic movements. One's hair getting cut off, and then the other one is just like a horrible death where you're just super sad, and you, like, her parents are having to hear it. So you like, there's an emotional connection on the Scream side, and like, I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's just very much like,
Come on!
you know, it's very much slasher-esque, which is another reason why I think that I Know What You Did Last Summer just couldn't keep making other ones. Although I do think they have a third one that is direct to video, and it's like, I still totally know what you fucking did last summer. That's not the name of it. But anyway, Scream becomes iconic because, one, they built a platform and a series that could continue, because you could have different killers that have a beef with Sydney every single time, and they're tied back to each other, and ew, good gracious, son. They're tied back to each other in little different ways. You know, I think in Scream 2, they're in college, and it's like the mom of Billy Loomis, you know, and then her tag along. And then in Scream 3, who was it in Scream 3? I can't really remember. I haven't watched Scream 3 in a really long time. Don't come for me. But they're attached to like her mom, I think, somehow. Everybody's somehow attached to Sydney and her mom, okay? I think they're like family or something. And then again in Scream 4, family, it's her own damn cousin. She's tied to Sydney, and you could have like a central character who continues to live, who everybody's tied to, and they want to murder her, and they figure out that like that's the way to get famous.
He's to fucking trying to kill Sydney.
However, when you come to I Know What You Did Last Summer and I Still Know What You Did, like that's as far as it can go. It's Ben and his son. That's it. I don't even know why there's a third one. Who's in this? What are they doing? I'm gonna have to watch this now that I've talked about it, because I've got to see what kind of ridiculousness is happening there. So the point is, you have like a divide as to why one is still continuing and one is not. Although I do have a very strong suspicion that we're not too far away from an I Know What You Did Last Summer remake. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just trying to be honest, because I really do think we're close to that. Like, we are starting to remake everything from my childhood, and I don't see how that would be any different, especially because I think that they can revamp it so that it's not so convoluted on figuring out who the killer is. And again, that could just be a me thing. Maybe I'm silly. My cleavage is sweating. And who knows? It could be me, but I just think that if you were to really want I Know What You Did Last Summer to be iconic or be able to keep it going, which I know all horror movies don't have to have a sequel, but they're gonna. If you really wanted that to keep going, you really need to make the killer someone who's not necessarily so attached to like the person who died, or they have to be supernatural. You see what I'm saying? Like, Michael Myers can keep going and murdering everybody because he's kind of supernatural.
He's evil fucking incarnate.
But you know who's not evil incarnate? Ben Willis, and Ben's son, because that's the joke. And I still know what you did last summer. I can't even say that. That's the joke, is when he's the killer, you know? He's like, I'm Will Benson. I'm Will Ben's son. I don't know why I did that for you. Now I feel stupid for having done so, and I truly apologize for insulting your intelligence like that. But I do think that in order for that to keep going, and especially with horror movies, if you want to be able to have them have sequels, which I'll be honest, I really do like a lot of horror sequels for the most part, except for Saw. We're just gonna... But I like a lot of horror sequels, and I just feel like, especially when it comes to slashers, you can't keep it going if you don't have a way for it to continue. And that's why I Know What You Did Last Summer just didn't make it. If you want to make it, y'all hit me up. What was that, New Line Cinema that did that? Lionsgate? I think it was New Line. Anyways, that's it. That is the video. Scream is iconic. There's a 5th one coming out, and I'm very excited about that. And also, if you didn't know, I have a podcast, and it's very small. There's exactly 1 episode, and I actually talk about Scream and the iconic Sydney as a heroine. So I will link that below in the description, and please
be kind.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was like a lot of weird hodgepodge stuff, but I kind of just wanted to talk about that. I want to talk about horror all the time, but I've got to find places for it. Anyway, I enjoy you guys. Thank you for watching. Huge shout out to my patrons. I'm sorry, that was weird. Huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. You guys have been wonderful. I have some fun announcements coming over on That Away. I'm so excited. And the schedule for July, the stream schedule for July has been listed. So check that out. All right, everybody have a wonderful day. Please put on your mask. Please stop gathering. I literally just looked out my window at the baseball field, and like, these people are acting like COVID ain't here. It's still here. Please be safe. Please be careful. Wash your freaking hands and stay inside if you can. Much love, and I love you guys so much. And until next time, deuces!